Maryland real estate agent, joined again by Brian Sachs, Maryland mortgage lender, as well as multiple other states. And we're here today to talk about how, once you buy a home, how you can pay your mortgage off faster. A simple game plan to paying your house off faster. That way you own it free and clear and it's completely paid off. Brian, what can these folks do to pay their mortgage off faster?
Well, so there's a little trick, Eddie. It's called a bi-weekly mortgage. Okay. So if your payment is, let's say it's $2,000, just for argument's sake, okay, you could pay your mortgage payment $2,000 a month, and in 30 years you pay off your mortgage. The challenge is when you hold that mortgage for 30 years, your first really 1 to 7 or 8 years, you're paying mostly interest. So every dollar you pay on your mortgage, 90 cents is going to interest, 1 penny is going, 10 cents is going to principal. When you get to year 15, it's 50-50. And on your last 10 years, you're paying mostly principal back. So the interest you're paying is mostly in the front of the loan. The reason I say this is because there's a way, if you borrow 200,000, you might be paying back 350 over 30 years. And so one way to really build the equity faster and to really create some wealth is, instead of making a $2,000 payment once a month, pay $1,000 every 2 weeks. Now, twice a year, there are months that have 5 weeks in them instead of 4. So really what you're doing is you're making one extra payment a year. If you make one extra payment a year right to your principal, you're going to knock down the term of your loan. Of course, it depends on the loan amount, depends on the interest rate, but generally you're probably going to knock 4 or 5 years off the life of your loan and pay it off 4 or 5 years sooner. So think about that. If your mortgage payment is $2,000 a month and you're saving 5 years, that's 60 months. 60 months of not having to pay 2,000 is $120,000. It's a huge number. Now, you could do it bi-weekly like we suggest, or you could just make one extra payment a year, but that's a way to knock 5 years off of a 30-year loan and really have that 120 grand we just illustrated in your pocket instead. Why don't mortgage companies tell you that? Because mortgage companies are all about collecting interest, right? That's how we make a living. So the more interest you pay, the more money we make. So share that with your friends, with your family, and certainly when you're ready to buy a home, it's a suggestion Eddie and I are going to give you as well, so that, again, you can build up equity faster and use that home as a stepping stone to the next home and the next home.
Exactly. And we talk a lot about how to get into a home, but not too much about what to do after you get in a home. So you want to make sure that you're making wise decisions both before and after purchasing a home. And this is a great decision that's going to not only make you pay your mortgage off faster, but essentially save you some money as well. So it's definitely something worth looking into once you get into a home, worth considering doing this. But before you get into a home, you can't do it because you don't got a home, right? So how can you best get a home? You can give us a call, and if you're not quite ready, the best way to get started is the Home Funded. That's a GoFundMe style page that CMG has, to where you're able to contribute, your family's able to contribute, your friends are able to contribute to you getting into a home in the future. It's like a little piggy bank just made for you to get into a home, for your future spending on that home. So we always post the link below. Go ahead there, make an account and start contributing to that. Start having your friends and your family contribute to it, and that is going to pay dividends when you are ready. But if you're ready to talk to us now and get some advice on how to get into a home, you can reach me at 410-588-6536. Brian, how can they reach you?
443-471-8557. And I'll tell you also, Eddie, with that home funded, we're going to give you $2,000 on top of everything that you get in that account. So that's pretty slick.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that as well. We're going to give you 2,000 on top of it too. So it gets even better. It gets even better, folks. And we're only a phone call away. We're only a link away. If you click the link, make the account, go ahead and do it. But we're also only a phone call away for any of your questions about buying a home, about what to do, if you might even already have one, or what your future looks like. So we're always here to help folks out, always here to set game plans. If you're not ready, let's get you ready, and let's get you into a home here in the near future.
All right.
But
and you know,
yeah, I was going to say, I thought you had something.
you know, if
What's
anyone
that?
has anything they'd like us to cover, drop it in the comments. You know, we're more than happy to answer your questions. Eddie, we do this, right? Just to make sure everybody has the knowledge, because you know what? Knowledge is power, and you got to make the right decisions when you're buying a home. You can't make a right decision if you don't have all the information. And that's where Eddie and I come in.
Exactly. So feel free to reach out to us. We both gave our information, or fill out that home funded and start getting, funding your future home. But until then, we're going to be back next week, and look forward to hopefully educating you guys on another topic next week. Thanks you guys everybody for watching. Brian, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Eddie.